That time.
You wait. I think it's rolling, Mr. Nolan.
It's rolling.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the third dimension. I'm Max.
I'm Cruz.
And today, on the great big outside world, we're going to talk about...
You're an idiot.
No, we're not going to talk about me being an idiot. We're going to talk about you being an
Well,
idiot.
it's my favorite subject, so.
Really, is
I'm
it?
kind of glad that, you know what?
Uh-huh.
I want to hear what you want to say. And go. Oh my gosh. It's so freaking sunny.
It's actually not. It's not that bad. I've got a nice lavender plant to my left, but that's not the point. That's not what I want to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was, well, I realized the past couple episodes we talked about mindset. We talked about, like, less pragmatic things about, like, actually getting out of the normal, like, the normal stuff, right? So if you don't want to do the college and 9-to-5 thing for the rest of your life, what do you do about it? How do you fix it? Can you do anything about it? Is it possible, or is it just some
That's the end of the episode. See you guys next week.
pipe dream?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about that this week.
I got freaking Tilly's hair all over my face.
Ooh, sounds fun. It's not a pipe dream. So this whole week I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, what can you actually do when you feel stuck in places where it's like...
I love doves. Did you not hear them?
No, I was focused on the topic.
They're so peaceful. Well, doves.
What? What's in that water? Have you lost your gourd?
Oh gosh. Continue.
Well, let me ask you: Do you think it's a pipe dream? Oh, I'm getting eaten.
Oh, Skeeter? Yeah, there's a lot of them out.
Sorry.
What's your problem? Do I think it's a pipe dream?
Yeah. Escaping.
Generally speaking, no.
Okay.
But, like, probably before any of that stuff comes to fruition, yes.
What do you mean?
Because in a particular mindset, it's always going to be a pipe dream.
I think it's only a pipe dream if you think that...
Well, that's what I mean. Like, in a particular mindset, you're like, well, this isn't possible.
Well, if you have a self-defeating mindset, then yeah.
Self-defeating Mike.
Yeah, a self-defeating mindset. If you're like, yeah, it's not going to happen, it can't happen, it's it'll never happen.
Yeah.
The likelihood is so low.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, that's a good recipe to have a failure of a life. Dream small, aim small. You know what you're going to get? You're going to get a really just... Well, you're going to fit in a box,
Yeah.
And if that's what you want, that's fine. But I want to talk about pragmatic things you can do in the moment, in the beginning, to sort of change the outcome of where you're at. And we talked about mindset last week, like how do you have to start thinking in order to kind of set the scene, set the stage for actually doing something more with your life.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember what we talked about last week as far as mindset?
Yeah.
So what was that?
Well, like what you were just talking about, like a self-defeating mindset. Obviously, I think the first priority to, I guess, becoming successful, this is also subjective to pretty much everybody. You need to get out of that mindset.
How would you get out of the mindset?
Discipline, conviction, passion.
It's people you hang around, right? It's,
well, yeah, I mean,
it's
again,
what you're
it's just-
absorbing into your brain.
Yeah.
If you're around people that fail, you will be the next one. If you're around
Mhm.
people that succeed and they fight for what they believe in, you will be the next one.
Yeah.
And so that's important. And I've seen that definitely in you, right?
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, I mean, I know that you used to hang around people that really didn't make the wisest choices, and you sort of moved away from all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you want more for yourself, and I've seen that, and
Yeah.
those are, not exactly the easiest steps, but you did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows resolve,
Yeah.
which takes courage.
Mm-hmm.
So mindset, we've covered that. So once you have that mindset, what is the next step, right? The mindset of, this is something that matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would feel like I'd have meaning in my life if I didn't pursue something more outside of this purview.
Yeah.
The 5 to 9 or the college thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not those are inherently bad, but just if you're the kind of person that has a disposition that's not given to that way of being, what do you do about it? So
You take action.
you do. The next is to take action, right? And so what does that mean? What does it mean to take action to get out of it? So the big things is, okay, well, say I've got to pay rent. Say you've got to pay rent and you've got bills to pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got bills to pay. All these things seem to be tying you down. What do you think you'd do to get out of that? To start
Well,
evolving.
I think you usually have two options.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you take like the safe, more comfortable route, which would, for a lot of people, be going to college because you've already ameliorated the whole like paying rent thing if you're moving into college.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a degree, doing something with that, or again like in that first route, there's two options: so college and/or just getting a job that you'll be spending the majority of your time at just to keep up with the necessities. You need
Yeah,
to
just
take care
treading
of.
water.
Yeah. And then the second option is not comfortable whatsoever, extremely pragmatic, makes absolutely no sense to anybody around you.
Not pragmatic.
That's
yeah.
right. And that would be doing whatever you want to do, not working a 9 to 5, kind of creating your own thing.
Right,
It's
but
kinda
what does
we're
that
doing
mean?
now.
What does that look like in action? Like, say you've gotten the mindset down,
Mhm.
and now it's time to be like, okay, I've got bills to pay, I've got things to do. What does it
Well, I
look
mean,
like?
it's gonna look differently, like from person to person. So what it looks like for us right now is again doing the podcast, being like online influencers,
Mm-hmm.
making videos, and it could be different for Joe. He wants to be a stockbroker. He starts studying stocks. Like again, it's very different.
So I would think sacrifice would be a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to have to sacrifice something.
Mhm.
There's no way to get out of making a sacrifice.
Yeah.
The point is, if you're younger and you're starting to make those decisions, you get to choose your sacrifice, right?
There's a freaking bug
So either you'll sacrifice
in my water.
your youth, your time in your youth,
Yep.
for whatever,
Mhm.
right? And you might think that that's an appropriate trade-off. Or you will trade off your feeling of security and stability for a chance to do something
Crap.
more. Focus up.
Yeah, I know. There's just a lot of clouds.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry.
I'm not worried. I'm just,
Mm-hmm. You have anything to add to what I just said?
I think I agree with everything you just said. But again, I think it's very subjective.
What do you mean?
I mean, generally speaking, yes, you do need like all these character traits and this and that. But again, like it varies from person to person. Like me and you might need a little more discipline than others. You know what I mean? Like
Well-
it's like generally speaking, yes, you do need those things. But again, it's like it's individual. If that makes sense.
Be more specific.
Well, the example I was just making, like me and you are doing something different than what another person would be doing. So, for instance, I mean, we're researching things that would benefit us, and then if again Joe's over here doing stocks and stuff, he's gonna be start studying stocks and doing something completely different from what we're doing,
Right.
and that takes just a different level. Like if you look at like a graph, so there's like discipline and all these other character traits, and they go up and down.
Perseverance,
And you look
I
at,
would
and
say.
you look at like two different people, and it's like his discipline's a little less than ours. It just like varies from person to person. So what I'm saying is you do need those character traits, like pretty much at all times. But again, like it's subjective. Does that make sense? Because you need a certain amount of that.
I think you're talking about varying degrees of a certain trait that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be present in someone that would be going off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but I don't think I don't think the variance is as intense as you're
Mm-hmm.
describing it. I think
Well,
that,
yeah, I just like it's not like that
yeah,
insane.
right. Well, the way I would frame it would be, if the reason that those character traits pop up
Mm-hmm.
is not because it's just, you know, based on your disposition.
Yeah.
It's because they're necessary to survive in a state of being that doesn't have a set path, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a job to go to that tells you to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and you'll clock out at 4 or 5 o'clock at night or in the
Mm-hmm.
evening, you do have to have discipline,
Mm-hmm.
because the temptation is that, well, I can sleep in another hour. Well, I can do this. Well, I can do that. Well, I can go do this. I can spend money here.
Yeah.
Um, and that is what will bring you down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're trading in that stability and that predictability for betting on yourself. You're
Mm-hmm.
betting on yourself in that instance. You're saying, okay, I think that I've got something that is inside of me
Mm-hmm.
that could be monetized,
Mm-hmm.
right? Be that your ability to look at stocks, or your ability to entertain, or whatever it is, your ability to build a business and to
Yeah.
actually lead people and start something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your ability to be business savvy. All of that requires an intense amount of dedication, perseverance, and discipline.
Yeah.
And so once you're there, the question is, what do you do about it pragmatically? So it's like the first steps that you would take would be, okay, I would think that you would analyze where you're at. You would analyze your financial stuff. You'd analyze, what can I do
Mm-hmm.
feasibly right now, and how much risk am I willing to take? Because, like I said, all this stuff comes with risk,
Yeah.
and that risk is, I don't have the luxury of being able to see the next the next 9,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's no laid out path. So
Yeah.
I've just sort of I have to wing it. And so networking is a big part of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say network in whatever industry you're going in.
Yeah.
Find someone who knows a bunch about whatever you kind of want to do
Mm-hmm.
and learn from them,
Yeah.
right? So be like, okay, if you're interested in filmmaking, go to film festivals.
Yeah.
Meet people that are successful in that, whether it's
Mhm.
small films, whether they're winning awards, whatever it is, and go talk to them. Go
Mhm.
figure it out. Figure out the lay of the land. If it's stockbroking, go to like investment meetings. Go to places where people do these things, right?
Yeah.
Where you'll find a lot of saturation and where people are successful at it and learn from them. If it's just whatever it is, find the industry and wherever that hub is, and find someone and learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
And once you kind of have a little bit of a grasp of what you're getting into, then you can sort of start taking those next steps. And again, I would use the example of people who have become actors, right?
Yeah.
They end up living out of their car. And
Mhm.
for a lot of people, they're like, why would you want to do that? It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Well, yeah, it's the kind
They-
of sacrifice you're talking about.
it's that sacrifice. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about
Mhm.
meaning. It's about feeling fulfilled. It's about feeling like you're doing something worthwhile with your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people are tired of the predictability and the comfortability
Yeah.
of the 9 to 5
Yeah.
and of the college experience.
Yeah. And I think the big thing with me and you as well is like the whole legacy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, doing something that's bigger than me and you
Mm-hmm.
times infinity, pretty
Mhm.
much. And again, I think that's a big part that plays into like the decisions that we make, and obviously the things that we do. Because if we didn't have, like, if we weren't fighting for something that's bigger than us, then like, what's the point?
Right.
And I feel like that's synonymous amongst a lot of people. They're like, well, where's that gonna get me? Because I
Right.
haven't really thought about it
Right.
in that mindset.
Well, who are they? Who are you? Right. That's the
Mhm.
question you have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't even know what industry you want to get into,
Mm-hmm.
go work a bunch of different jobs.
Yeah.
Go work a bunch of different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And even hobbies, things you have a hobby in, go find something where you can make money at that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe shadow for a little bit, do some research on it,
Mhm.
figure out if that's something that you'd actually enjoy doing,
Yeah.
and then go for it, right? Because the time to fail is when you're younger. That's the time to fail.
Yeah.
That's the time to learn. That's the time to figure it out. The time to not do that is after you've been to college and you have the degree and you're already starting to put down roots. That's not the time to do it. That's you're kind of you might be dragging some other people into it that may not be willing to take those risks. So, and again, this was more trying to answer people who are like, okay, well, you've said kind of things are nebulous, right? We've talked about the ideas, but now we need to talk about the pragmatic. What do you do? What actions do you take? Actually. So, what actions do you think we're taking that are happening in real life right now? Steps that we're taking towards getting out of the 9 to 5.
Well, I mean, I just want to start by saying, I mean, this information coming from us is probably like the most like first-hand information, because again, we're doing those things,
Right.
like we're finding jobs, we're just doing all this, and especially like coming from me freshly graduated, and I have no idea what I want to do. Like I'm trying everything, and again, you're also a part of that, so like I guess we're trying a lot of different things. I mean, yeah, I think it just comes down to like fearlessness and just taking a risk. I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, again, if you listen to anybody else and they're like, well, the reason I'm here talking to you today is because, well, I guess Tom Brady's a really good example. I mean, anybody who follows football, I mean, he was a 6th round draft pick.
Right.
Nobody thought he was good. If you look at all of his draft notes, like, this tall, lengthy kid, he has absolutely no talent. And, like, the day after he got drafted and he showed up to practice, he was talking to one of the coaches, and he he was talking to Tom, and he was like, yeah, so, I guess they were having a conversation. He was like, you're the 6th round draft pick, like 4th player on the bench, and he was like, yeah, and this is the best decision this organization has ever made, which is like the most insane thing to say, even though you just got drafted. But obviously at that point, like, he knew where he was going. And also something that's really cool, the law of attraction. You start talking about these things, I mean, they're gonna come true. I mean, that kind of happened with my car. I mean, I don't know, 15, 2 years before I got my car, I'm like, yep, first car was going to be a Volvo C30. I had no idea that was going to happen. But, again, I was talking about these things, and I was putting in the hours looking for that kind of thing. And, again, that's applicable to really just doing anything. I mean, if you just put in the effort and you have, again, the conviction to do the thing that you want to do, like, really nothing's in your way except for yourself at that point.
Yeah, I would say if you're actually serious about getting out of it and doing something for yourself, you got to be willing to even if it means sacrificing everything.
Yeah.
Or what you see as everything. Because you can't hold on to an old life and a new life at the same time. They kind of, there's a cycle. It's cyclical. And that can be scary for a lot of people, right? I don't want to let go. It's like, well, if you don't, then you will be stuck. And that is a lot worse than moving on. I know that for me,
Is it freaking raining?
it is, but it's okay because we're still rolling. We have an umbrella.
Yeah, but it's not covering up that crap.
What crap?
The freaking...
No, because that thing, it juts out. We have enough time. It's okay.
Okay.
So, first step, figure out what industry you'd like maybe to get into, right? Once you figure that out, second step, find someone that's in the industry and learn from them, right? Learn how to get in, get a leg in the door, right? Whether that means shadowing, whether it means, making minimum wage, trying to learn from, because the goal isn't where you're at. The goal is where you want to be. And so if you've got to make some sacrifices to kind of get there, right? Whether it's like serving in order to become an actor, the goal was never serving. The goal was acting. And so you do what you got to do to get to where you want to be, right?
But that also doesn't mean, like, doing stupid.
What do you mean?
Like, when you say you got to do the things you got to do to get where you want to be, for the majority of the time speaking, like, especially in, like, these really just weird industries, like, I guess Hollywood, for example, like, a lot of people came from, like,
you're talking about,
doing good stuff.
Yeah.
That's not what we're saying.
I'm not talking about things that would be compromising to your
character.
character.
Like, a vague statement.
Yes, no,
before
don't
anybody took that.
Don't compromise your character for these
exactly,
things, right? That's important.
It's a big no-no.
What I'm talking about is more or less things that might just seem like crappy jobs, or things that, it's like, gosh, do I really want to do this in order to get there? Like, this seems hard. It seems like laborious. And it's like, well, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
How bad do you actually want it? Because if you want it bad enough, you'll do it. Again, anything that does not compromise your character. So at that point, you just sort of keep going along those lines, right? You monitor some things, right? So and sometimes it means moving away from where you're at, right? So it's like if someone wants to pursue. I would liken it and parallel it to university, right? People move for university all the time. Why do they move for university? Because university, for them, their belief is that university or that college is going to give them the tools to get the job that they want, right? And in the same way, right, if you are looking to get into an industry that doesn't necessarily require a degree or a 9 to 5, it just requires you to be there and you put in a lot of time and effort and elbow grease to get there, then you move.
Yeah.
I know that for me, for a long time, I was like, okay, this whole thing seems this whole thing called life seems complicated and annoying, and maybe I'll just buy a van and live at the beach and just teach surfing lessons, because that seems
kind of nice,
peaceful.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about all this stuff. I don't have to worry about people and their problems and the whole just crap
Maybe one
of it
day.
all.
Maybe one day when we retire.
Yeah, when we retire, exactly. And then I was like, well, if I did that now, would I feel fulfilled? Would I feel okay? Or would I just feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I feel like I've still got something to offer. And that thing that I have to offer, there's no path laid out in order to get me to where I need to be. So I've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
A
little sweat bee.
It's not it. No, it's a fly, I think.
That was a sweat bee.
Those are little...
I know a thing or two. State Farm. Continue.
So I think what we're doing right now is we both are getting jobs that pay significantly better than our previous jobs, right? In order to build up a nest egg, in order to go do the things that we want to do that we believe will get us to where we want to go, right? And it's not always glamorous. Most of the times it's not. That path is just sort of crappy, you know? But again, it's about the destination and where you're trying to get, not necessarily...
It's not the journey, it's the destination.
Well, it is a journey, but the journey...
Who's that? Who said that? Not Carl Jung. Who's the other guy? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think you told me about it once.
I did. I forgot his name, though.
Billy Butcher.
That's right. That's who it is.
Speaking of things, so I wanted to touch on this for a second.
Speaking of things...
Just in general, in
yeah,
things.
That's pretty...
I know, but
What?
I just wanted to jump off on a tangent here, right?
Yeah, we got to balance out the seriousness with the non-seriousness.
I saw Deadpool last night.
And we're actually going to go see it today at 4:10.
And it was great. And you know what? It inspired me, despite it being a stupid movie. It inspired me because everybody there looked like they were having so much fun, and every single person that was on that set, right? They didn't do it by doing just the normal thing. They took risks. And now they're working on a huge movie set, huge millions and millions and millions of dollar budget, right?
Yeah.
And they're having a blast. Like, they're laughing. It's long hours, but my God, they're having fun.
I mean, yeah, it usually takes like a year to film a movie.
Yeah. And it's like, why wouldn't you want to feel that way about where you're at, right? And
and those things aside, like, those people are getting paid hundreds of millions to do what they love.
Right.
Like,
and
at the end of the day, they
made
much,
it. And it's like, okay, yeah, I lived out of a van for like a year, but it's like, that was worth it because it paid off.
Yeah.
So
those things happen.
They do.
It's a matter of when, not what.
It's a matter of how badly do you want it.
Well, yeah.
It's a matter of...
Well, yeah, but if you stick to it long enough, it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, it's like...
It could
a lot of that stuff
take a day, it could take 6 months, it could take 6 years.
And a lot of that stuff is networking, right? If you talk to people and you can, like, connect with them...
Yeah.
You can get to where you want to go.
I mean, yeah, it always comes down to communication.
Yeah.
That's kind of the big...
Right.
Big thing.
So, I hope that answers some of the questions that were posed due to the last couple of videos.
Yeah.
We will, I think, we'll give updates on where we're at and kind of touch on this stuff. But after this episode, we can move on from, I think, this topic, and we'll just kind of move on to a couple other ones.
Yeah. And again, speaking on the subject of balancing the serious with the non-serious, actually this time, starting next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to be uploading. Is it going to be a separate YouTube channel? Same one. We're going to keep the same one, right?
Okay.
We're going to be uploading Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our YouTube channel. Friday's the podcast, obviously, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then Monday and Wednesday are going to be kept under the wraps just for now.
It'll be under the covers.
Under the covers. But we have exciting projects coming up. And, if you're not subscribed, please do so, because we noticed that 68% of the people who watched the last video,
they're not. So subscribe. Do it.
Yeah.
Click the button and the bell.
Yeah. Well, the
so
button. The button is the bell.
You know
so
what?
You get notifications.
Click them all. Click everything.
Yeah. And if you like
Except
what we're doing,
unsubscribe.
and,
Don't do that.
Don't unsubscribe. That's not.
But
what we
please
want.
subscribe.
Yeah. And obviously, if you want us to talk about a particular subject or anything, again, just comment on the video and
let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah, because we check the comments and we see what you guys are saying. So again, it means a lot to us. So, anyways, that being said, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
My shoulder's wet.
Yeah, it's raining.